Wow, the keto journey gets exciting by the minute. Look at those beautiful slices of Victorian sponge cake, Ghana style, by the way, that I just made. This cake was made with zero sugar and zero wheat flour. Yes, clean keto Victorian sponge cake, tasting just the same as a traditional sponge cake, if not better. My name is Becca, and I created this channel purposely for people like you, Africans in general and Ghanaians in particular, who are looking to reduce the amount of carbs intake in their diet just so that they can reduce their sugar level and their weight. So come with me, let's do this. Please subscribe if you haven't done so and press the notification button so you can receive anything that I upload here. First and foremost, let's go through the ingredients. So on the menu today is Victorian sponge cake, the Ghana style I was taught way back, and cream cheese frosting. I'll be taking care of the cake whilst Princessa, my little girl, will be teaching us how to do the cream cheese frosting that I saw her do with sugar, but this time we're going to be using keto-friendly ingredients. So let's see what Princessa's got for us. Cream cheese icing, okay, and I'm going to teach her how to bake the Ghanaian style or Ghana style cake, the keto way. Okay, so let's go through the ingredients for both the cake and the frosting. At this stage, in terms of the details of the measurement, I will leave them in the description box below. So you need 2 tubs of soft cheese. You can get this from any supermarket. And then 1 tub of double cream. I use the full fat one because that is what is allowed on keto. Keto is simply low carb and more fat, so you get your energy from the fat, if that makes sense. For our sugar alternative, I'll be using total sweet xylitol in combination with stevia powder, which I got from Asda. Then you need your butter, of course. For the flours, I'm combining coconut flour, wheat, vital wheat gluten flour, and almond flour. And then, of course, your eggs. So we're going to put everything aside and start with the frosting because it needs time to set in the fridge and be ready by the time the cake is fully baked. So in your mixing bowl, you can use, if you have a mixer, a stand mixer, then obviously use that. But if not, you can use a traditional mixing bowl and your hand and it will do perfectly all right. So we are using the mixing bowl of the mixer, the stand mixer. So in that mixing bowl, Princessa is emptying the 2 tubs of the soft cheese, and that is going to be whisked to allow some air to go in there to loosen it up and make it all kind of drawy. And whilst that is going on, I am going to go ahead and blend some of the total sweet xylitol because it's kind of granulated, but we want it as fine powder. So that goes into our blender and we get that blended whilst the cheese is softening up. So that becomes easy to kind of mix together basically. In the real world, we would have used caster sugar, if that makes sense, but because we're doing keto, I have to improvise, and it did perfectly all right. So once you see the powder has formed, you just measure according to taste, really, I think, but we did 3/4 of a cup full and added it to the cream cheese that was already being whisked. Now, the addition of the powdered sugar or the caster sugar that we've made actually helps to make the cream cheese even lighter. And so you have to, I didn't time it, but just keep whisking it until it becomes drawy, almost like the consistency of double cream. Okay, so that's just about it for the cream cheese. And then at this stage, you pour it out and set it aside, because we're going to whisk the double cream separately too. So that's exactly what my frosting tutor is doing right now. I'm literally just watching her. So once you've set aside the cream cheese, you make way for the whisking of the double cream, which is exactly what she's doing now. In the same mixing bowl, she poured in the double cream. And so whisking begins as well for the double cream. And watch what you're going to see. After a few minutes, you're going to see that the cream will start to double up in size, to the extent that it will become solidified. After this stage, then you return the cream cheese back into the mixing bowl and whisk it all together to form this fluffy, creamy, very light frosting that will be used for the cake. So that goes back into the glass mixing bowl. Cover it with cling film and set it aside in the fridge to allow it to set and be ready by the time the cake is done. So we're now about to start the cake making process. So for some reason I lost the footage for when I was measuring the butter and the xylitol, but this is a mixture of 500 grams of butter and 500 grams of xylitol and stevia powder mixed up. You can use just xylitol or just stevia if that's what you like, but I just combine the two. All right, so just as we would do with the traditional cake making process, that's all undergoing the beating process just to incorporate more air and cream it basically to make it fluffy and light. So that's taking place now. In a separate bowl, whisk 8 eggs until it becomes foamy like what you can see in this footage, and then add the mixture gradually into the creamed sugar and butter mix inside the mixing bowl as the stand mixer continues to work. My gauge is to divide it into say 3 or 4 parts and pour it into it in 1 minute intervals, just to allow this process still allows for more air to be incorporated into it. Remember, when you're baking cake, it's all in the art of how you mix it and when you put the ingredients in. So I'm still following the traditional cake making procedure that I was taught way back. Like I said, the Ghana style. So that's all gone in, all my eggs gone in, and it's all looking nice and ready for the flour to be incorporated inside. So on the side is a bowl of my 3 flour mixture, my trio flour mixture, mixture of coconut flour, almond flour, and vital wheat gluten. I just felt the vital wheat gluten gives it the stretchiness that normal wheat flour would have, and it did the job. It was my first time trying it this way, and it did work. Again, with the flour, as with the eggs, that's the same thing you do. Don't pour it all in at once. Just take your time to do it gradually. And at this stage, this is the exciting part. You add your vanilla essence, whatever fragrance or essence or that you want to put in. This is the time. So I added vanilla plus this stevia essence. So by this time, your oven must be heated and ready to receive the cake mixtures into it. It has to be ready before you put it in. So I'll put my because my oven doesn't take too long to heat up. At this stage, I added a bit of chia seeds and a tablespoon of baking soda just to give it a bit of support to help it rise. Okay, so that's all gone in, and we're ready to plate the content into our baking trays, which had previously been lined up with parchment paper just to help it release effectively when it's done. I wasn't sure whether it will stick or not, so just to be safer, use parchment paper. Right, so that's exactly what I've done, and so they're all ready and ready to be fired up basically. And whilst that was going on, I had to quickly make my bread mixture because obviously it was baking day for me on this day. If you want to try my bread recipe, I will leave a link in this video just for you to try it on and tell me what you think about my bread recipe. Trust me, if you are looking to cut down on your sugar and your carbs, start by changing the sugar that you use to sweeten your food and your bread. Sugar, bread, and rice. These are the three basic stages that you need to conquer if you really are serious about cutting down on sugar and your weight. Trust me, and I thank God I've been able to achieve these three. So cake is all ready for the oven, and I will see you in 40 minutes time. After 40 minutes in the oven on gas mark 170, 180 thereabout, here is the final product. The grand finale is here, and I am happy to introduce to you the best keto cake ever. Here we are. The best keto Victorian cake is here and ready to go. So moist, came out perfectly alright, just as I wanted and as I expected. Look at that. When I break into it, it's so soft, and the chewiness, I suppose, came from the vital wheat gluten. So try this recipe and let me know how yours comes out. I'm really keen to know how your one comes out. No sugar, no wheat flour, just the vital wheat gluten. Of course, if you are allergic to gluten, then this cake is not for you, then this recipe is not yours. But if you want to have the feel of the stretchiness, the stretchiness of the cake as if you had flour in there, then chuck in some vital wheat gluten and you will come and thank me later. I'm so proud of myself in terms of how it came out. Try the recipe and let me know how you think. And it's a win-win situation for myself and my little girl, because as I had my Ghanaian version of dry sliced cake, she also had the opportunity to design hers nicely with the frosting, and it was a win-win situation. So that's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like the content of this video, kindly subscribe and share. Let someone else know, especially someone who is worrying about their weight and wanting to do something about it. This channel is for you. So share the news, and let's grow something beautiful here. I've already made it clear. In this channel, we try as much as possible to do the keto options of the food we love. But when we can't do it, if it's not possible or if it's too hard, I would say, we go the low carb version. But I'm proud to say that this is clean keto. Everything in here is keto friendly. So please, let's promote something beautiful. And as you always know, listen to your body and let your food be. And until I come your way again with another edition of the Flourishing Plate, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and love God. Bye.